Hi, everyone. Welcome to Everbridge's Rapid Resilience Briefing. I'm Zach Huffman, a manager of risk intelligence here at Everbridge. I'm joined today by Zach Nelson, who manages our global insights team. Hi, Zach.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So Zach is going to speak a little bit about the evolving Israel-Iran situation. Zach, I know you and I have been watching this since last night, but just for everyone who hasn't been able to follow so closely, could you just give us a general high-level overview of the situation and kind of speak to the scope of what's going on here?
Yeah, absolutely. So, starting in the early hours of Friday, Israel launched what it's calling Operation Rising Lion. This is a major military campaign aimed at dismantling Iran's nuclear and military capabilities. And it marks one of the most significant escalations the region's seen in recent years. So far, Israel's carried out 5 waves of coordinated airstrikes involving more than 200 aircraft and 330 precision guided munitions. Latest figures we've seen. The attacks have hit a wide range of targets in and around multiple Iranian cities, so including the capital Tehran, Natanz, Esfahan, Shiraz, Tabriz. And they focused on nuclear research centers, missile platforms, air defenses, IRGC facilities, and the Iranians have confirmed that multiple members of their high command and several leading nuclear scientists have been killed in these strikes. And along with that, what's notable is that Mossad reportedly activated a drone base from inside Iran to target some strikes at missile launchers that had reportedly been aimed at Israel. So Iran responded to this quickly. They launched more than 100 drones toward Israeli territory in the hours that followed. Most were intercepted by Israel's air defense systems, but at least a dozen managed to hit some second tier targets, is what we're hitting. So, highlighting some cracks in Israel's saturation defense capabilities, but no reports of casualties from that wave. And meanwhile, Iran's issued some strong warnings coming both from the IRGC and from the president, promising retaliation not only through direct strikes, but also through regional proxies and cyber attacks. While the U.S. hasn't taken part in these airstrikes directly, it's clearly preparing for potential spillover. The Pentagon has repositioned some military assets in the region. Today we saw that 2 Navy destroyers are being moved from the Western to the Eastern Mediterranean, and several Western embassies have already activated emergency protocols throughout the region. And along with all this, global markets have already reacted. Oil prices jumped this morning. Equities have taken a hit, especially in energy intensive sectors. And the world's really bracing for further disruption because it seems that we may just be in the opening phase of what could be a longer and possibly wider conflict. We had reports of Iranian ballistic missiles being fired into Israel that came out just about an hour ago at the time of this recording. So Friday afternoon here in Eastern time. So the escalation in tit for tat is still very much ongoing.
Okay, and so looking at the situation a little bit more specifically, what types of risks does the conflict present for businesses, either with personnel and operations in the region or just other exposure in the region?
Yeah, so first, there's clear and ongoing risk to personnel safety, especially in Israel, but also Iraq and the Gulf states, as missile and drone attacks continue. Cities in Israel are now under frequent red alert sirens. Employees in those areas need to be able to respond quickly. Infrastructure is also vulnerable. Energy facilities, logistics hubs, ports, U.S. military and diplomatic sites, all potential Iranian targets. Again, especially in countries like Iraq, Bahrain, and Kuwait, where that have been explicitly mentioned in Iranian threat messaging. And there's also, again, the risk of proxy escalation. Militias in Iraq, Hezbollah in Lebanon, they're allied with Iran on high alert, could potentially be activated like we've seen during previous crises. So, from a business continuity standpoint, a big concern is the Strait of Hormuz. Threats there are particularly worrying. That's a choke point that handles roughly 20% of the world's oil. So, any threats or actual interdiction efforts by Iran So mining, attacks on ships or port infrastructure, that could all further rattle global supply chains and spike prices. And also beyond the Middle East, there's always the concern that Iran could, of course, retaliate through covert operations or terror attacks outside of the region, possibly using its intelligence services. And lastly, yeah, and the cyber threat landscape has intensified quite a bit. We know Iran has it's got state-sponsored units that are capable that have previously targeted critical infrastructure in the digital domain and sectors like aviation, logistics, energy, finance, telecom. They could be, I would say they should be especially alert because they might be more likely to be targeted just given the impact that their disruption could cause.
Okay. What would you say are the most important things decision makers could be doing right now to prepare for the potential for further escalation?
I would say first and foremost, physical security and personnel safety plans should be reviewed, updated if needed, especially in high-risk areas like Israel and Iraq. That includes clearly defined shelter-in-place procedures, evacuation plans, coordination with local emergency systems. In Israel specifically, personnel should be made familiar with alert systems like Red Alert and the IDF's, it's called Home Front Command. It's a mobile app that provides real-time missile alerts and shelter instructions. So everyone should know where the nearest safe zone is, how to respond quickly. And from a supply chain standpoint, now would be the time to model risk scenarios, consider rerouting operations away from choke points like the Strait of Hormuz. Companies should, maybe consider looking at stockpiling critical materials, reviewing war risk insurance, and reinforcing infrastructure in key locations. And then lastly, again, on the cyber side, firms with possible exposure probably want to review and harden their defenses. That could entail a lot, but really making sure your bases are covered, enforcing multi-factor authentication, reviewing access controls, ensuring offline backups are current, and having clear thresholds for escalating a response to a cyber incident.
All right. Thank you, Zach. I'm sure we'll all be watching this situation very closely in the days ahead.
Hey, thank you so much.